y'all, Miranda and I are back with a fantastic scrap lift of Audrey Yeager. Really excited. She had this really cute grid layout of her holiday photos, and I thought I would take a little twist on that, and then I'm doing another holiday, but it's not Christmas. It's also not a birthday. Considered that too, but decided, nope, let's go Halloween. I absolutely love carving pumpkins with my kids. It's one of my favorite things to do with them, and they usually love it too. They're usually into it big time. This year, my older two kids were kind of meh on the pumpkin carving, and I was so upset. I had already bought the pumpkins and finally convinced my daughter, at least, to do a pumpkin with me by calling it pumpkin art. And she is a big fan of all things creative, so of course she was on board once she realized it was essentially pumpkin sculpting, and she was able to draw on her pumpkins as well. The collection that I'm using is Simple Stories Forever Fall, and it is absolutely stunning. Love this big bold stripe, so of course I had to gut it because I want to use more of it on another layout, and it's going to function as the border that she had around the entirety of her layout. And then I brought in a piece of white paper, which is actually the back of a very old piece of paper that I don't like much, and I just flipped it over and used the white side, and that is going to be my second layer. Now, she had the white as the area behind the photos, but this is a Halloween layout, and I kind of thought it would be cool to have that real dark navy that kind of reads as a gray behind the photos instead. I'm also going to grab these two stripes from that same bold stripe paper. These are two shades of orange, and I'm going to use my border punch. What? Yes, the border punch was sitting on my desk, so of course it got used again. And I'm going to go ahead and create those fantastic borders that she created along the left and right side of her center layout. And I really like this border punch, but it is from Martha Stewart's and it is very old, so I'm not sure if you can get it anymore. I don't believe I've seen it online anywhere, but it does work very nice, creates kind of a lacy effect, and I really like that. I did decide to go ahead and chop down this navy paper just a little bit. This paper kind of looks like denim in person, and it's really cool. It's got a little bit of stitching on it, and it just has that fantastic dark denim look, and I absolutely love it. Once I get that all taped down off camera, because who wants to watch me tape 5 layers of paper, right? So I went ahead and grabbed these 4x6 cards from Tracy Reed's Ghouls Like You printable collection that she created, which is essentially a feminine Halloween collection. It is super cute. It's got the orange and the black, but it also has pops of pink, which I think is absolutely fantastic and a lot of fun. And I thought would be perfect for documenting photos, especially of my daughters, because a lot of those Halloween collections do come across as very masculine. They're very green and very black and very orange, and not a lot of my girls' photos fit into those categories, especially if they happen to be dressed like princesses or, you know, any number of things that girls tend to dress up like. They don't fall into those color categories for sure. So my thought here is to do the 3 photos as one part of the grid, and then to have this 4th spot as just kind of a decorative journaling place. Now, I had thought I would actually journal on that spot, but I don't end up doing that. But I just made it kind of a little decorative piece because in Audrey's layout, she has 2 of those. They're both shaped like presents, and their whole function is to be design, to make the layout look cool. So I decided to go ahead and do that on this layout as well. I am going to pop up this one photo, the very first photo, up onto foam adhesive, but it's the only one that's going to get that treatment because I want it to stand out just a little bit. It is the picture of her drawing on the pumpkin, which was the beginning, and I kind of want to draw your attention to the start of the sequence of photos, and so that one is popped up just a little bit. And you're also going to notice that the top left and the bottom right are going to be on an angle while the other 2 are straight. That is an homage to Audrey Yeager's page as well, because she did that same effect. Here is the ephemera. It's all printable ephemera. This is not something that you can buy in a store. You have to print it yourself. And I just love that they're like black flowers and pumpkins, and there's even a pink pumpkin in there. There's some ghosts. There's a ghost with a little bow in her hair, and I just thought it was so super cute. and I was looking for an excuse to use it, and it just happens to coordinate quite well with the Simple Stories Forever Fall collection that she also designed. Go figure on that. But it worked out really well, and I think in the end it looks really, really sweet. Now on Audrey's page, she did very simple embellishments. So she just did like a couple of embellishments on each photo or area, and then her title, journaling, done. I can't do that. That's a little bit too minimalistic for me, and so I am going to bring a lot more embellishment onto this page than that, but I think it still has the same effect that hers had because of my layering of the papers in the background very similarly to hers. So as you can see, I've put in 2 large floral clusters in the corner of the journaling card there, and then I've added my little pumpkins because that pink pumpkin is just so stinking cute. How could I not use that adorable pink pumpkin? I do add a little journaling spot up in the top left photo. That is mostly to cover up some random toys and things that were hanging out on the ground in the background, because you're in your backyard. There's going to be miscellaneous junk, you know. In that case, it was just some toys that were sitting there, and I thought, nah, let's make that go away. And I went ahead and added some banners up in the top right. So it's kind of just a free-flowing layout that just has lots of orange and pink and black. This is not anything fancy. There's no special techniques here. This was just a lot of fun to make, and I think that's why I picked this one. She has a lot of layouts that are mixed media heavy and require a lot of special techniques with mixed media, and I skipped all of those. I've been doing a lot of mixed media lately and decided to take a little break and do a pattern paper heavy layout instead. And I'll admit, I love this. I love pattern paper. I love filling the page. I just find great satisfaction with my layout completely full of pretty beautiful things. And yes, in one of those photos, she is pretending to eat the pumpkin guts. And I was very tempted to make the title Pumpkin Guts, but instead it becomes the subtitle. I'm just flipping through all the pieces, partially to decide what I want to use, but also to show you guys kind of what's in the collection. There's lots of little banners and labels and lots of flowers. I did take a lot of the flowers and print those multiple times and then ran them through my silhouette, so they cut them out as well, which was fantastic. And I have lots and lots of flowers because of that, because she does give you those files individually as well, so I could add a bunch of them to one page and print a bunch of them. So now I'm bringing in my tonic glue pen, which is my absolute favorite liquid adhesive, and I'm going to go ahead and glue down all these bits and pieces. I did try to use tape on the larger sections just because I find that if you use glue on a larger piece, it tends to float a little bit away from where you intended it to be on your layout. And so I am just going to go ahead and try to use tape on the larger pieces, except like here where I was just being kind of lazy and just put it on the back of this flower, and now pieces of the flower are going to kind of stick up and pop up, and I'm going to have to keep touching it to make it stay down. I am just adding those bits and pieces around the page. Now I have a question for you. I have mentioned before that my absolute favorite holiday to scrap is Easter. I love the pastel colors. I love that you're outside egg hunting, so you get these really cool pictures of your kids. And Halloween is probably a pretty close second, just because you get to see your kids all dressed up. And I think that's a lot of fun. So let me know in the comments below, do you have a favorite holiday that you like to scrap? And if so, why? Because I would love to know that. I do a lot of event scrapbooking because we do a lot of events and we have a lot of activities, and that's mostly what I like to look at when I look through my albums, are the holidays and events that we did together, and I thought that would be kind of cool. I did add some bats on here, which kind of I wasn't anticipating doing, and ended up putting them up on some tiny little foam pop dot type things as well to kind of give them a little dimension and add to that little scene that I've created at the bottom right. I do find that if I'm using a little bit more of a cartoonish embellishment, that creating a scene in some areas makes it a little bit easier for me to use them. I've also added a little ghost with that little hair bow there next to the bottom left photo, and a skull with a hair bow at the top right. I think this collection is adorable. It absolutely cracks me up how sweet this collection is for a Halloween collection. It's really cute. So I've grabbed my little tiny enamel stars, which are just from Funny Sticker World, and you can find them on Etsy from time to time. Just look for tiny star stickers and they'll usually come up. If they're in stock, because they're not often in stock because a lot of people love them. These thickers are called Spooktacular, and they are absolutely lovely. They have a black foam with a kind of a dark gold foil, and so they do have kind of that Halloween vibe to them, and I thought they would be perfect on this page for that reason. And I am making these as not straight and as not up and down. They're crooked, they're off center. I love it. It was on purpose, kind of because those two photos, that photo and that journaling card, are also on a goofy angle, and I thought if I did the same thing with my title, it would feel more like it was intentional and not just like, I can't line things up, guys, sorry. No, I decided that was going to be fun way. It's a messy, because it's what these pictures are of a very messy activity. So it just seemed appropriate that the photo letters and the photos just kind of be messily put onto the page as well. I've grabbed my white Uniball pen to write, "Don't eat the pumpkin guts, please," in my nicest scripty font that I could make. It's not really anything fancy. It's just kind of an upgraded cursive. I add little flourishes to things and make the T crosses a little bit longer, and that's about it. But this layout is almost done. Guess what it needs? How to swap color shine. Shaking, 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 shaking. Have to shake the tar out of it, guys, because otherwise it leaves this oily ring that is not pleasant. So definitely shake that up really, really well. I cut out a lot of that in my videos, but please do shake it up a lot if you're using it. And of course, I end up smudging one of the giant splotches of color shine and have to redo it in just a moment. But first, I'm bringing in these huge glittery enamel dots that were sitting on my desk. Not exactly sure where they came from, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was Doodlebug. I think they were in the Doodlebug Hello collection, and they were just leftovers that didn't really work for my pages at the time. So there's some orange and green ones. Threw them on the page, because why not? Fixing the color shine I splotched, and then adding in my journaling, just talking about how Chloe was not on board with the whole pumpkin carving until I called it pumpkin art, and then she was all for it. I love to document these moments, and this will go into her scrapbook album, specifically about her. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Check out Miranda's link in the description box below. She will be lifting a different layout of Audrey Yeager's, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Until next time, bye!